Hi, everyone. It's Rocky Howard with this week's Confession of a DEI Practitioner. And you know what? Today I'm going to be talking about Mental Health Awareness Month. And I've been deep in developing a training for Diversiology's Operate OS. That's our subscription service to help practitioners and ERG leaders really operationalize their initiatives and optimize their impact. And as I was building out some of the training, I have to tell you, I had to pause and ask myself, am I actually modeling the behaviors that I am teaching? This training is about more than systems and structure. It's about how we lead. It's about how we set the tone, how we show people what's possible. But modeling those values doesn't just happen. For me, what I've uncovered is it requires unlearning, because a lot of us, especially those of us with marginalized identities, have been carrying messages we didn't ask for, and we're surviving systems that we didn't build. And as a Black woman, I was taught early that you have to work twice as hard to get half the credit. As a mother, I felt the pressure to prove that I was just as committed, just as available, just as present as everyone else in the room, whether that room understood my reality or not. And growing up with real economic instability, I internalized the message that survival meant staying visible, working nonstop, and never giving anyone a reason to question my value. Those messages, they shaped the way I worked, but they also shaped the way that I led. And so for years, I let that fear that was sitting there, that trauma that was sitting there, set the temple of my leadership. Emails at all hours, always being the first one in and the last one out of the building, telling myself that I didn't need PTO because the mission was too important. But what I was actually doing was showing people that success meant overextension, that commitment meant self-sacrifice, that leadership meant showing up no matter how empty your tank was. And when I finally stepped back, last year, in fact, about this time, at the end of Mental Health Month last year, I stepped back. I stepped off the social, I stepped off the hustle, I stepped off of autopilot, and it became painfully clear. You can't support others in protecting their peace if you've never learned how to protect your own. So here's what I've learned. You can't model what you won't practice, and you can't teach boundaries if you don't live them, and you can't build a culture of care if your leadership style is fueled by unprocessed trauma and inherited pressure. Being a good DEI practitioner, being a good leader starts with being radically self-aware. And sometimes it means learning to lead ourselves differently before we try to lead others. So as we roll out new training and Operate OS and continue our work inside of Diversiology, I'm going to hold myself accountable to that. We're not just here to teach transformation. We're here to practice it. And so if you're looking for content to support your own mental health journey, whether you're leading a team, an ERG, or you're just trying to stay grounded, you'll find it across our spaces. You'll find it at diversiology.io on the blog. You'll find it in our Diversiology LinkedIn community. You'll find it in the Diversiology platform. And now you'll find it in our brand new Medium newsletter. Because if we want a better culture, we have to create it from the inside out. And that inside begins with us. This is this week's Confessions of a DEI Practitioner. And as always, make it an awesome, productive, and impactful week.